Gronk and Brady are teammates again. Tomorrow is day one of the NFL draft, and our leagues are filling up fast. All this and more in 20 seconds. Hey, fellow fanatics, welcome to the Fanatically Real broadcast sponsored by Football, Darts, and Fantasy Sports Alliance. I know you're used to seeing this scene already reduced with my head in the corner or smaller than it is with a whole bunch of graphics around me, but we are attempting to try to do something else this week, hoping that we can get our technical issues that we've been having the last couple weeks with the audio and the video to sync up a little bit better if we don't go as graphic heavy this week. Not a lot to report anyways, because as we all know, the NFL draft is happening tomorrow, and that is the big news that we should be talking about. But before we do, we're still going to go through and thank all of our sponsors of this show. First, we'd like to thank our broadcast sponsor, Football Darts. Football Darts is a dart game that combines a skill and tradition is a dart game that combines the skill of traditional darts with the strategies of American football. This innovative dart game is played on a uniquely designed multiple target dartboard. Unlike traditional British darts, American football darts is a game that combines both the skill of darts and the strategies of football. It can be played in sports bars, at tailgate events, as league tournaments, or as a leisure activity in the comfort of your own home. If you would like to check out their officially licensed collegiate dartboards, go to footballdarts.com. All right, Empty Wagon. They say an empty wagon makes a lot of noise. Listen to our partners Josh, Eric, and Brad talk fantasy football on their podcast, the Empty Wagon Fantasy Football Podcast. They are your one-stop shop for fantasy football information and news. The guys talk about rankings and projections with a whole lot of comedy. This week they did a combo show where they did a rookie mock draft between the three of them. And then Josh broke away and did an interview with Rich Dotson. And if you don't know who that is the guy that owns Dynasty Nerds. For all of us that are getting ready to start playing Dynasty, I've recently found out about Dynasty Nerds. They actually liked one of our posts. I started following them, and then like a week later, Josh is doing an interview with him. Interview turned out really, really great. The first part of the show where they did the mock draft turned out really, really great. So if you haven't listened to their show, if you haven't subscribed to Empty Wagon Fantasy Football Podcast, please go out wherever you find your podcast and subscribe to those guys. They put a lot of work into what they do, and I really want you all to appreciate what they do. So go out and find them. I listen to them on Stitcher, so whatever it is that you normally listen to, go out and find them. Great interview from what I heard. Yeah, so it was a really good interview. So really awesome to hear him and his brain, and I have to tell you, if y'all get a chance to go out and listen to it, the names that he was rambling off made me think that I am just not ready for this Dynasty thing yet. He's rambling off names of people that I've never heard of before. Granted, you realize that we're in our startup Dynasty League as it is, so when we do our 28 rounds of picking, it will be rookies and veterans included in that, so I don't know how deep our rookie pool will get. Brian Lewis and a couple of other guys that have been doing this for a lot longer than we have will probably be able to answer that question, but I know that when we go to draft our rookies next year, when we do the 4-round rookie draft in 2021, that'll be a different story. So, yeah, Mondo, definitely go and check it out. It was a really good interview. And then go out and I'm not trying to push anybody towards them, but Dynasty Nerds does really have a really good platform. So go out, and if you want some information in the Dynasty realm, definitely go out and listen to those guys and what they do. So, hey, if you want to go out and find Empty Wagon on any social media platforms, you can find them at Empty Wagon FF. So make sure you go out and follow those guys. So, and if you like tonight's show, please like and subscribe to our show. Follow us on all the social media links. In fact, you know what? For just a second, I'll throw that up there, even though ignore the buttons on the side because that's not the regimen or the menu for tonight. But there are all of our social media links there across the bottom. So If you need to go back and watch this, pause it, whatever you need to do, that's where you can find us on all of our social media. So let me go back to just my talking head for a little bit. Hey, so we will talk about membership count, though, right now. We have been picking up quite a few members since the last show. Our redraft is now up to 25. Thank you to Louis Cintron, who signed up, Chef Boar Louis, earlier today. So we were able to get him back in the redraft, even with him and his new team in the Dynasty League as well. The Bridgeport Jets, I think is what it is. I know it's the Jets. I think Bridgeport's the city, right, Louis? Our Dynasty Alpha league has been filled, as we said last week, and we are up to 9 in our Dynasty Bravo right now. We've had a lot of interest today in those last 3 spots in the Dynasty, but nobody signed up yet. We had 2 guys on Facebook. Thank you to Randy McCarty out there for getting those guys hooked up with us. And then 1 guy on our post from earlier today on Twitter that we're interested in. And Josh has been pushing really, really hard for us as well on Twitter for us. So, Josh, really appreciate that. Hopefully we'll get these last 3 spots filled very, very soon. Now, Randy asked me a question earlier today. He said, if we get those last 3 spots filled, are we going to go ahead and draft the Bravo League starting on Monday, just like the Alpha League is going to? And I'm going to delay the Bravo League just a little bit, because what I want to do is I want to make sure that we get all of the brands built, all of the graphics done for it. The page is good to go. The divisions are set. Schedule is done. So if that means that we've got to delay it a little bit, that's what we're going to do. But that's okay, because what I did was last week while I was thinking about that scenario right there, I built in Excel a tracking system that will let us know when we reach a point of, hey, we need to start the Bravo draft now, or we're not going to get significant amount of time for each one of the picks. So right now, even with the way the Alpha League is set up, we could take a very long time to do that draft, and we could average 9.4 hours per pick, and that's even with a pause overnight for us to be able to conclude that draft in time for us to start. And that's even if we stretch it all the way out to 9 September, the day before the NFL season starts. So I do have an Excel program out there that's keeping track of all of that for you all that are in the Bravo League. So you'll know, we'll know if we're still waiting for those last 3 people to sign up. When is the go time? At that point, when we feel that we're at the go time, a couple of the guys in the Alpha League have been itching to get a duplicate team or another team over in the Bravo League. We will open that up to the Alpha guys if they want to go over and do that. First come, first serve kind of thing. Membership is open for those last 3 spots that are in the Dynasty League. And if Erica and I are not in Dynasty yet, what do we do? So that's a message that came from Mondo for me across regular text message. Mondo, I will hit you up after the show is over and we'll talk. Damian says he is in the process of signing up now for the Bravo. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. I know we've been talking quite a bit on Twitter today. So if you have any questions before you sign up, please don't sign up without me answering all of your questions. And if you want to ask them right now in this forum, go ahead and do that too, because somebody else might be having the same questions that you have. So membership is open for those last 3 spots. Damian says he's going to take one of them. That means we've only got 2 spots that are going to left to be open here soon. But the membership for the redraft league is open. We're sitting at 25 right now. Remember, the goal for this year is 96. That means we got 71 spots. You know, we all are notorious for signing up very, very late in this league, but it is wide open right now if you want to jump in. And in fact, it looks like I think I've got Damian's information that just came across. Is that you with the other name that just popped up on my screen here, Damian? So if that is, yeah, I see it now. It says Clarksville. Yep, that's you. Appreciate it. Thank you. So as we're here live tonight, we have 2 spots remaining in the Bravo League right now. Thanks to Damian for signing up in one of those spots. So I appreciate you, brother. Thank you much. So big news. Tomorrow is the NFL draft, right? I'm wearing my NFL draft shirt from 2 years ago when they were in Dallas, and I got the opportunity to go down to the draft, which was awesome. The draft will take place starting at 8 p.m. East Coast time tomorrow on Thursday. You'll be able to watch that on ABC, ESPN, and the NFL Network. And then make sure you go out and check your schedule to see what you're going to see and where on Friday and Saturday. So that's going to happen. Then, of course, the other big news that came out in the NFL, and I don't know if y'all heard it because it was pretty hush-hush, but it is pretty big news. The New England Patriots have agreed to trade Rob Gronkowski at a 7th-round pick to the Buccaneers for a 4th-round pick, and this now reunites the retired tight end with his former quarterback, Tom Brady, and both of them are in Tampa Bay now. So, I didn't know if anybody knew that or not, but I wanted to let you all know out there just in case you hadn't. What's crazy is, think about now, as we're talking about Dynasty right now, and this question came up quite a bit on social media today. Imagine if you're in a Dynasty league and you had Gronk, and you decided after he announced his retirement, you held on to him anyways. And now he comes out of retirement, back with Tom Brady again in Tampa Bay of all places now, with all of that talent that they have around them. Probably the most talent that Tom Brady's ever had around him from player positions, what that's going to do. So for those of you who kept him, bravo to you. So before we get into all of the craziness, where we're going to talk about the YouTube channel and what our next broadcast is going to look like, and thanking all of our sponsors and stuff like that, Louis came to me today across social media and was asking, hey, what does the draft look like for Dynasty? Because he doesn't quite understand it from the rules set, and he wants to know as Bravo gets ready to do their draft. So let me explain what Alpha's going to do, because theirs is already scheduled to start on April 27th, which is on Monday. That's like right after this draft weekend. We pick up on Monday. So the draft timer is set for 6 hours per pick. The draft timer will start at 6 o'clock in the morning, East Coast time, on Monday the 27th with our number 1 pick. Now, the general manager has that full 6 hours to make that pick. However, once they make that pick, it's not like the clock is going to continue to run all the way into the end of that 6th hour. As soon as that player makes the pick, the clock for the next person starts, and it will run 6 hours. So what we ended up wanting to do was, if everybody was to take their 6 hours, pick number 1 would run from 6 o'clock in the morning to noon. Pick number 2 would run from noon to 6 o'clock at night. And then the last pick would run from 6 o'clock at night to midnight. And that would be picks 1, 2, and 3. The clock will pause from midnight East Coast time all the way to 6 o'clock in the morning the next day, and we'll pick back up again for pick 4. That is if everybody took their time. Now, as soon as somebody makes a pick, let's say we go on the clock in the Alpha League and the number 1 pick goes within 5 seconds, then that 6-hour timer for pick number 2 starts right there at that moment for the next person. Yeah, I agree, Damien. Damien just said, what happens now with O.J. Howard should be interesting. So I think there was a message there, one of the news stories that came out on MFL, on the website that we run FSA on, said O.J. Howard might be on the trading block right now. And there was like a list of 5 or 6 teams that he could possibly go to. And I think every one of those landing spots could be good for him. He was just great talent, very underutilized in Tampa Bay. So it'd be interesting to see if he does leave the team where he goes. Sean says Bravo spots should fill soon, in my opinion. Surely not that long of a delay. Let's hope so. Want to finish up those all of that branding for you guys, get the league ready and set, schedule, divisions broken down, stuff like that, and get that thing moving forward. So if you want to do trades, Louis, yeah, and Brian, okay, let's go down to Brian's comment here. Brian says you can also put picks in a queue, and when it gets to your higher remaining choice, so if you're at pick 2, you can put CMC, and Barkley, who would go number 1, doesn't, just like that. So Brian's right. You can put things in a queue in case you're worried about missing your spot, or if it's coming close to the end of the 6 hours or whatever. And Louis, there will be trades. Let me get back to you on your trade part. So what we've done in the Alpha League to help facilitate, to make sure that everybody knows when it is their turn to pick, to help the process along a little bit, and most of the Bravo League is in there already. Of course, we use the app called GroupMe, and Damien, if you're out there right now, and if you have GroupMe, let me know, and we'll add you to the Bravo group. That way you can get on there. So let's say not everybody can get to their email. Let me take one step back then, Louis, for you. So MFL has the ability for you to allow it to email you when every pick happens or when it's just your turn to pick, and it will come across an email to you. It's under your settings of your team, just a little check the block, says yes, I will get emailed every pick, or yes, I will get emailed just my picks, or you can do both. On the Alpha League, I have already gone through and checked all the blocks for everybody to say that it will send you every pick, and or email you every time a pick has been made, and it'll email you every time it's your turn to pick. Some of those members have already gone out there and shut off the every pick one because they don't want them coming to their email. I've got it set up for myself to be able to see it, of course, as the commissioner and as the general manager of my own team. So all 336 draft picks emails will come to me, so I will see that. But what we're trying to help push that along is using GroupMe as well. And Matt Furby just said, and text as well. However we can get the word out to every one of the people that are in our group whose turn it is to pick next. But know that you do have a 6-hour time window to pick, 6 to noon, noon to 6, 6 to midnight. And that is to help facilitate, in your case, like you were just saying, Louie, trades. If we want to trade picks, when we want to trade the free agent acquisition budget, all of those things that can go into that 6-hour window, that gives you the ability to do that. Now, I don't see a lot of people taking that amount of time, but what's cool about the MFL website is it will let us know what is the total amount of pick time a particular person has taken, and what is the average amount of time that they have taken per pick. So, email on the phone, you're best off to not do every pick in your email. Yeah, you're probably right. Good point, Randy. MFL has the ability for you to set up a text message sent from their system to your phone when it is your turn to pick, when you're on the clock. So same thing, go into your profile, same place that you would do the check the blocks thing, add in your telephone number and what provider you are on, and it will send you text messages to let you know. And to help, so you don't have to click the button and go back and redo it again. When you put your telephone number in, don't put any of the dashes or the hyphens or whatever in there. You know, like for me, 937 hash 374. Don't put that in there. Just straight numbers, and then you'll save yourself of pushing submit and having to go do it again because you put the daggone dashes in there. Now, for the Bravo guys, it is set on your draft right now to also start on Monday the 27th. However, the only reason it's like that is because I duplicated the Alpha League into the Bravo League, so all of the settings came with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in there and shift that one more week to the right, so it'll be the following Monday, which, if I pull my calendar up right now, will be the 4th of May is when you all would start. Now, that is also still depending on if we fill that league. So I'll continue to do that, because what I want to do is, like I said with Randy earlier today, I want to make sure that I get all of your branding done for you, all of the divisions figured out, all of the schedule created before we go ahead and have your draft. No, I do not believe that we'll go all the way into September. You can ask Brian Lewis and Matt Furby. We were just having the conversation about this inside our Alpha League chat room the other day. I think Brian said in the last one, he took a screenshot and showed us the longest somebody was taken was about 3 hours, and that was the longest person. But on average, they were taking about an hour or so. So we should clearly get done before September. But what I wanted to make sure was we allowed ourselves that amount of time. So I backward engineered from 9 September all the way up until that Monday to figure out how much time that we could give ourselves per pick. And like I said, right now, even if everybody took the full 6 hours, we could do it. And right now the math says we could take 9.4 hours and still be okay, but we're not doing that. Josh says if he goes all the way to September, he'll lose his mind. Well, you know what? I thought about just messing with you all since I've got the pick at the churn at number 12 and 13. Granted, I realize I can't take the full 12 hours to get both picks in there. I have to still make that number 12 pick within that 6 hours. But I still thought about doing all of my research in that first amount of time and making my 12th pick, or making the 12th pick, my first pick, and then when it's time for my 13th or my second pick, the 13th pick, taking that entire time, even though I already know who I want, and just dragging it out on you all, just for that first round, just for that first turn, and that would be it. Are we going to be able to trade once the draft is complete? Yes, Damon, you will be able to trade once the draft is complete. You'll have to go out and look because I don't know the specific dates off the top of my head. If you go to the Bravo League, and I think I sent you the link earlier today, if you're on the MFL Bravo League page, there is the top menu that goes all the way across. That is MFL's links. There's a set in the middle of that. There is a rules tab that is in the middle of that horizontal menu. You click on that, it will give you the breakdown of all of the dates of when trades can and cannot happen. And it's for the entire calendar year is the way that it's broken down. When we're allowed to do free agents, when we're allowed to do trades, free agent acquisition budget, how that carries over, when you can and not use that, that you can put that in the trades as well. All of those things should be in the rules. So Chris is telling me You can pick when the clock is stopped. It doesn't force the timer on the next person. Okay, I see what you're saying, Chris. So let's say that the person that's picking right before midnight goes ahead and picks, right? So it would alert the next person and they could pick during that time period, but it would not force it onto the next person. So essentially we could get 4 picks in a day, but that fourth person's clock would not force it to the 5th pick of the day. Is that what you're saying? So let me know if that's what you meant. You had said that in a chat room earlier today, and I wasn't quite understanding. Okay, cool. So that even facilitates even more. So let's see. Who's got the 4th pick in the Alpha League? Does anybody know off the top of their head? So basically, we could get through picks 1, 2, and 3, even if whoever the 3rd pick is decides that they're going to wait until... I think Sean Purcell, I think, has got the number 4 pick. Him and I were just talking about that earlier this week. So what you're saying is if the first 3 picks decided to take their full 6 hours, Sean could pick during that free time and not force it on to anybody. You've seen entire rounds taken a day. Yeah, I could definitely see it going fairly quick for us. Everybody's excited about it. This is really the only sports that we got going on right now, even if it is just our fantasy stuff. I did see an interesting fact on my Alexa downstairs earlier today. I don't know when the WNBA draft was held. Didn't even know it was going on. However, they said it was the most watched draft in the last 16 years of the WNBA. So that shows you how starved people are for sports right now. You'll take the midnight. Okay, so Matt, are you number 3? I think you are number 3, aren't you? So the Panhandles has got number 3, and then the Havoc are number 4. And really, I wanted this to be a short show from the standpoint tonight of graphics and all of that craziness, because really what I wanted to do is get your questions answered tonight. And I'm glad you all are putting them out there. I know we don't normally get this many, so this is really good that you guys are asking us and you're getting the information this way rather than me trying to do it in a... email or a GroupMe chat. So thank you for asking all of this stuff. And while you all were thinking about other questions, let me get the rest of the formal portion of the show done tonight. Come 1 August, when we're doing our draft selection show for all of the regions for the redraft, that will be the last time that you see us done live and the repeats being played on Facebook. Because what we're going to do after that is all the rerun or the repeat will be on YouTube and YouTube only. So if you don't catch us on Facebook Live and you want to watch a repeat of it, you're going to have to go over to the YouTube channel. So you might as well go ahead and sign up now. Get over there, subscribe to the channel. Like I said, we're at 37. We need 100 subscribers to get a custom YouTube channel name. And then along with that, as we progress forward in what we're doing with technology and everything here at FSA, we are able to do YouTube lives once we reach that 100 subscribers as well. So we would still love to be able to do the live, and we would like to make that shift over to YouTube, but we cannot do that on YouTube until we have 100 subscribers. So if you're out there right now and you haven't subscribed yet, there's got to be a ton of you that haven't because we've only got 37 that are on there. Go on over to YouTube, Fantasy Sports Alliance, and subscribe to us. Please and thank you. Let's see, Chris Simpson, you might not get till midnight if the other 2 pick quick enough. Yeah, it's true. So MJ's picking number 2. I've got to figure, I think Cam's number 1, right? Cam's got to know by now who he's going to take. I think MJ's got a very good idea of who she wants to take versus what, based off of what Cam's going to take. Kind of think I know who Cam's going to take, which might force MJ's hand on who she's going to take. Maybe somebody that she doesn't want to take might be the best spot or the best player at that spot, MJ, just saying. They are allowing submissions for trick shots on ESPN. That's how starved we are for sports. Some of that stuff is pretty good, though. Yeah, I've been, so you want to see some really good trick shots, go out and see our QB54 trick shot guy. QB54, we haven't mentioned them in a while. If you don't know what they are, you're new to the program, go out and Google QB54. We are ambassadors of that program. Got a set of them downstairs. I was able to sell the 3 sets that I had bought off of them as part of the ambassador program. But go out and look up QB54 trick shot guy, and he's got a lot of great stuff that's out there too. That's fun to watch. We really are sports starved. Yes, Ted, I will definitely do that. I will shoot you a note to tell you how to sign up for the Bravo League. And Josh, very, very good suggestion there of taking Patty Mahomes at number 2, because I really do believe most people would probably take Barkley at that spot. But I think MJ has a real sore spot in her heart for Barkley right now. So there's a button on the FSA website. Yes, thank you, Josh. Appreciate it. So, Ted, if you go out to fsa-fr.com, whether that logs you into the site from last year, 2019, or if I give you the Bravo League, does not matter. Either one of those will be able to get you to sign up for Bravo. So what you'll do is you'll go in there, do the whole membership form. When it's time for you to pick which membership type you want, click on the Dynasty for the membership type, and then that will take care of you for the Dynasty. Now, I can't remember if you've signed up for the redraft or not. If you are going to sign up for the redraft this year as well, you can sign up for both of them right there at that time. You can do the redraft and the Dynasty. Click on both radio buttons. It'll tally it all up for you, and it'll spit you out on the other side and have you fill out all the information and stuff. It took you. Yeah, you know what? I probably should do a little bit better job of letting everybody know that that's a clickable button. Right now, it's just an image that says join today. Damien, that's a very good point. I should probably just add the word click on there. Click to join or something like that right there with the little verbiages that's underneath it. A lot of people would probably think that it is really just an image and we're just advertising for you to join. So that's a very good point. I love when the new guys come in and give us ideas that we haven't thought about or we missed or overthought or didn't think about. So that's a very good point. And as soon as I get done with the show tonight, I'm going out and fixing that. So very good point. And you have to, yeah, okay, you're still going to sign up. So we're going to have the Pirates back again this year for Ted Howard. And then for those of you that are signing up for the Dynasty, and Damien, I think you did sign up for the Dynasty tonight, let me know who your defunct Dynasty team is going to be. If you've already got something in mind, and then what I'll go out is, and I'll start working on the brand and the graphics for you and stuff like that right away. That way we can get that ready for you. And if you haven't seen some of the images yet, go out and watch the draft selection show for the Alpha League. I think it was two or three shows ago. Look for that name, Dynasty Alpha Draft Selection Show. What we did was we did a parade. We're calling it a parade of teams of what everybody chose as their defunct Dynasty team and a little bit of history of each one of those teams. And we'll do the same thing when we get ready to do the draft selection show for the Bravo League. So if you have something in mind, let me know. I'll start working on it right away for you. Some great teams still left out there. If you're having a hard time thinking of a team as well, let me know. We had another tracker that we put together a couple years ago for another project that we were working on that lists about 130 defunct professional football teams in history. And it does not have to be the NFL. It could be anywhere. Like if you look for all of us guys that are in the Alpha League, heck, I got an old XFL team as mine. We've got guys that are doing indoor football leagues. We got one from the Northern Kentucky River Monsters. So lots and lots of ideas out there for you. The one thing that we make sure that we check on before we finalize that that's going to be your team is we make sure that whatever team you pick is no longer trademarked or copyrighted. That way, if we decide to do something with your logo and your brand, like create merchandise for you on Squad Locker, that we have the ability and we don't have to worry about possibly getting sued. Let's do Bravo selection show tonight. That would be great, except for we're still 2 people short. And you remember how long it took me to do the Alpha show that night, especially with the dice rolls and having to restart twice. I don't know if tonight's probably the best idea. And Josh's Barracudas is awesome. So the Birmingham Barracudas is a great brand that was out there. So if you get a chance to also watch, was it last week's show when we did it? I think I did a small parade of teams for you all without all of the history and stuff like that. What is this defunct team referred to? Okay, so what we've decided to do, Damien, since this is our first year doing our Dynasty, we have themes that we like to run through our leagues. That's kind of where the whole idea came from for FSA, with all of the regions broken down the way that they are and the mascots that represent those regions and how they're kind of based on mythological creatures because of the whole fantasy football, wizard, jocks, D&D, whatever. So I wanted to theme our defunct dynasty teams based on defunct professional football teams that are no longer in operation, all the way back as far as you want. If you look at some of the teams that we've got, some of these teams haven't played since the 1920s. So what you're going to do is you're going to assume the identity of whatever defunct team it is that you want to pick, and that will be your team name and your brand for your dynasty team. Now, if you decide to get in a redraft, you can pick whatever you want for your redraft. But for the dynasty side, it's going to be a defunct team. And we're going to bring that old defunct team's brand back to life with logo, colors, uniforms, all of those things. And from a divisional makeup and from a scheduling standpoint, wherever your team physically played when they were in existence, the city that they were in, that is the division that you will get placed in based on where they were at. So I break the divisions up west, central, and east based geographically on where those teams played. So that will, when it comes to a scheduling standpoint, you play everybody inside your division twice and everybody outside your division once. So based on where you decide to put your team will determine who you play against and what that does to your schedule. So hopefully that makes sense. So if you don't have anything in mind already because you didn't know that piece of news until right now, think about it. We've still got to fill the other two spots. Sounds like Ted might be jumping in on one of those tonight. Maybe even Mondo or Erica might be jumping on one. It's basically going to come, first serve. When we're down to that, we got two more people that are sitting out there on the Facebook side that are wanting to get in as well. But I'm going to stick to my guns. We're only going to run the two leagues because I feel like if we open up a third one, we try to go to that Charlie League, it's going to take just as long to fill if we only put one or two people in it right now. So we'll cap this thing at the Bravo League, the two leagues. So. Yeah, and Damien, let me know if you want. Like I said, I got that tracker out there. You said you don't have an idea of what you want. If you want, I can send that tracker out to you. I have an idea for you, especially where you're located in the country. I don't remember, you said when you moved into that area, if you were there when this arena football team was there. I know that when we came back from our last deployment, a bunch of us guys that are football fanatics had said that we were going to buy season tickets to this particular team and go watch all of their home games because it's right there in Nashville. But the team folded before that next season happened, so we didn't get a chance to get the season tickets. But if you want to go for something pretty original and good to the area, unless you want to go back to somewhere close to home, if you want to go somewhere back up in PA or something like that, that's also an option out there too. So while you're all still asking questions, next week we are back on our regularly scheduled every Wednesday from now all the way to February, all the way until the end of the football season, all the way through the Super Bowl. The only thing that might interrupt that is depending on what's going on with NFL operations based on the coronavirus. If things are still not going on, like we're not getting OTAs, we're not getting any real preseasons or any of that stuff, and there's not a lot to talk about, we might go back to the every other week until we hit that August standpoint when the Hall of Fame games happen or things start to pick up a little bit more in the NFL. So I will let you know after next week's show what that's probably going to look like. The reason I say that is we definitely have to have a show next week because that'll be the post-draft show, and we'll get a chance to talk about what some of the teams did. Of course, I don't know if you can see it real well tonight because it's an all-white hat, but that is a Bengals hat since they do have the number one pick tomorrow night. So I wanted to make sure I wear their hat. So we will do a pre-draft or a post-draft show next week, and we will also talk about where we're at in the alpha draft at that point as far as what picks have been taken. We'll kind of do a wrap-up of that. So that will be happening next Wednesday. I wouldn't say mid-May. It depends on Louis asking Bravo League draft looking to start mid-May. If I can get all of your brand, if we can fill this last spot, so Ted's in now. I think that gives us one more spot to go. If we get this last spot filled and I get a chance to work on the logos this weekend, I don't want to rush that process between it and the divisional breakdown and the schedule. The schedule is what takes a little bit of time. So for May, no later than 11 May, if we can get that last spot filled. And then we'll start from there. And then we'll get you guys started. Because we still have to do the draft selection show after all of that's done. So let's say this, Louis. let's say we fill the last spot. I get the graphics done this weekend. We do the draft selection show sometime next week. The following week after that, we'll do it. But I think we'll probably put a 2-week gap in there. 4, 11. Yeah, you're right. Mid-May. Let's say 18 May will probably be a very good day to kick off your guys' draft. We'll say it. Make that one. Yeah, we're down to one spot now. Chris Simpson just posted in the group me. We're down to one spot now. So, Mondo, I'll get with you here in a little bit and see if you and Erica maybe want to put together a team and co-own one together. Let me know. So while you're all still talking, I would like to thank all of our sponsors for 2020 that we have so far. Finger Lakes Mercantile, Brandon Gums, Nature Coast Tailgating, and Brandon Valenka. Southern Siren Sugar Scrum, MJ, she's on with us right now. Football Darts, Jonathan Davies. We'll mention him at the top of our show. He's our broadcast sponsor, Deep South Creations. And, of course, the Recast, Mondo's on with us right now. They are the official music of Fantasy Sports Alliance. If you enjoyed the show tonight, please make sure you go out and like, share, and then in a day or so, this will be over on YouTube. But before it is, make sure you go and subscribe. So we've got 37 subscribers over there. As soon as we're done with the show, heck, why we're even watching the show right now. Go on over and subscribe. I'd love to see some numbers go up as soon as I get off the air tonight. Co-owning with this partner doesn't sound like a good idea. So with the partner. So, I will say this, and Mondo, correct me if I'm wrong. I think Erica had a better year than you did last year in the redraft, but I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it was the year before you started off really, really strong and faded. I'm not really sure how that turned out between the two of you, but husband and wife owning a team together could be good, could be bad. I don't know. To draft, at the top, hit 4 owners, then draft. This is the page to make the picks. The button down from the header that says draft is the draft results. Okay, so Brian is telling everybody for the draft, if you hit owners at the top of the MFL links that are across the top, 4 owners, and then hit draft, that is the page to make your picks on. If you're clicking on the other header that just says draft, that is just the draft results. That's not where you want to be. Damien, I appreciate you coming aboard. I really hope you do enjoy this. Really appreciate you reaching out to us on Twitter like you did. It's really awesome to be able to talk to you through all of this today. I'll reach out to Mondo, if you're still out there, and see if you want that last spot. I will also check my mail to make sure I didn't miss anybody else that came in while we were live tonight, decided to get in. And really, that's it. No real outro music or anything like that tonight. What I will say is, once again, if you like the show, share, like, and then go over to YouTube and subscribe. Show you this great little graphic right here, what we would like for you to do. Make sure you put the little alert bell on right there as well. And then we will see you all next week for sure, but we might see you throughout the weekend as the NFL draft is going on. Make sure you watch that starting tomorrow night at 8 p.m. East Coast time. You all have a great evening. Thank you for watching the show tonight.